Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. In today's episode, I will be reviewing for you guys. Well, first of all, okay, hi. My name is Candace and I'm your host. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing a book by an author that I had not heard of, I had heard of her, but I hadn't ever read any of her work prior to this book. So if this was not a good jumping in point, let me know. But I've seen this book like all over Instagram. I follow the author on Instagram. And I heard good things about it in book groups, and I decided to give it a shot. So, in today's video, we are going to be reviewing From Blood and Ash by author Jennifer L. Armentrout. I hope that's how you pronounce your last name, because if it's not, and I'm fucking it up, I'm sorry. Armentrout. Yeah. This is part of the Blood and Ash series by Miss Armentrout, and this is book 1. There are 622 pages. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Candace, we can barely get you to read a 250 page book, right? How did you manage this? I'm not gonna tell you. It's all a secret. But I did read it. I did finish it. Was it on my January to be read list? No. I deviated a little bit from my list because it sounded good, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you a shot. So this is the first book in her Blood and Ash series. If I'm not mistaken, at least the second book has already come out. Maybe a third book. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Here's the thing about this book. Before we dive into the blurb and what it's about, etc., etc. Spoiler alert. This book ends on a cliffhanger. Okay? You guys know how I feel about cliffhangers. You know how I feel about HEAs. Like, why? I did it to myself. It's my own fault. It's not the author's fault. She wrote a good book, and I'm sure she wrote a good subsequent book that will tie in everything and it will be fine. But I did it to myself. I did not do enough research. I did not. I did not do enough research, and I did not know that this was I knew it was part of a series. I did not know that the whole series is based off of one particular couple. Not like as I'm used to, okay, there's a 10-part series and each book has a different couple, but they all tie in together in the same universe or in the same whatever. No, boo-boo. The first book is about 2 people, and then the second book will also be about those same 2 people. And I did it to myself because I didn't do my research as usual. Okay, so now that we've established that there is no HEA at the end of this book, I will go ahead and say the book was very good. I really did enjoy it. I really liked it. It was really well done in terms of the writing style, etc., right? It was long. It's longer than novels that I'm used to, but it's weird. It's so weird because I have found that authors who I have rarely heard of or who are not like mega mainstream author. I live in a bubble, okay? Like I like what I like, and if it seems like an author is not like in my realm of what I like, I don't delve into it. They could be uber famous, low key, and I don't even know. So it's quite possible that Jennifer has like a bajillion followers and she's put out 150 books, and I just don't, because I don't do research because so but I've noticed a lot of like authors who are prevalent through like Kindle Unlimited or authors who self-publish or publish through like Amazon, I've noticed that they tend to write longer books than, let's say, authors like Nora Roberts, who has like a 500 book catalog, right? Like the average length of a Nora Roberts novel is like 350 and change, maybe 300, 350. 622 pages, it's a lot of pages. Sienna Blake is another one that I read that was like 700 or 800 pages for a book. And then that's fine. If I can get into it, it won't feel like it's 700 pages. If I can't get into it, that 700 pages might as well be 5,000 pages, because I will literally drag ass through the entire novel. Will I quit and give up? It's happened once or twice. Someone couldn't pay the price. And I'm afraid I had to rake them across the coals. Okay, I'm sorry. Deviation. Little Mermaid. I'm sorry. It has happened before where I just couldn't, like, for the life of me, I tried. I really did try. And I just couldn't. And it didn't grab me. I generally know within 2 chapters if I'm going to like a book or not. And that's even generous. Sometimes it's like within 1 chapter, I can tell, like, no, I'm going to struggle to get through this. I will still try and push my way through it just for the sake of finishing, because there have been the rare occasion where I will push myself through the first book, and by like the ending, I'll feel okay with having read it. Like, it'll be like, okay, I'm glad I finished that. Or it will introduce characters that are more appealing to me that may show up in a later book, and then I'm chomping at the bit for that book in the series, right? So for the most part, I try and finish, even if I'm not like sucked in, right? For this book, I didn't have that problem. Like, I didn't feel like I was struggling to get through it. It's very plot heavy. I will say that, okay? I've heard this book like categorized as young adult fantasy type novel. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. I'm not sure if that's how Jennifer would classify this book or this series in general. I don't know if it's like akin to Cressley Cole's Arcana series, or because there is sex scenes in the book. There are a few like love scenes in the book, and they're well done, and they're good, they're hot. But it's not like my uber smutty read that I'm used to, right? So it could be young adult. I don't know. Again, with the research, I don't know, but it is very plot heavy. It's similar to like Gina Showalter's Forest of Good and Evil series, where it's like this entire realm has been built up from scratch. It's not contemporary romance. It's not paranormal romance. It's kind of like in between the two. It's like fantasy, not sci-fi, but you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? But it's like an entire world that's been created from scratch. It doesn't take place in our universe, in our whatever. And in books like that, I, in general, have to really focus and concentrate in order to get sucked in. Because if I'm having to like memorize like place names and locations and maps and character names and what family they're from, it's like Game of Thrones. And I'm just like, oh my God, my brain hurts. But once I do that, everything's fine. Because then I'm like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? But okay, so I have seen a lot of fan stuff on Instagram about this series. Like, I've seen like people have even loved it to the point where they've gone and like had custom pop figures, like those Funko Pops made of like the characters, and that's super cute, and I love that. After the first book, I was like, what's gonna happen. I have to read the second one now because I need to know. And I think that's like the mark of a good author, you know what I mean? That they can make you do that instead of just getting to the end and being like, oh my God, thank Christ that's done. No, it was not like that. This book is very good, okay? I will read you guys a blurb. 11 minutes in, I haven't started on any kind of review. Okay, I will read you guys the blurb and then I'll break it down a little bit and I'll give you my rating. Okay, so 622 pages. You can get it right now for Kindle or Nook for $1.49. It's on sale. Will it be on sale when this video goes live? I don't know. But it's $1.49 for your Kindle or Nook. So get it. 622 pages. That's a fucking bargain, yo. You can get it in paperback form for $16.19. Does it qualify for Prime shipping? I think so. But $16.19, I'm assuming it's going to come as like a trade paperback, which is a little bit larger. And 622 pages is going to be a chunky boy. Okay. So brace yourself for that if you decide to get this to add to your collection. I will read you guys a blurb and then we can dive in because this video is going to be so long. Okay. So, so the blurb for this one does have like those like little intro bits and ... and then you get the little... Why? Freckles. Can you not, like one time while I'm trying to record? It does have like the little teasy sentence and then the ... and then it gets into the actual paragraph of the blurb. So keep that in mind. So a maiden ... Chosen from birth to usher in a new era, Poppy's life has never been her own. The life of the maiden is solitary, never to be touched, never to be looked upon, never to be spoken to, never to experience pleasure. Waiting for the day of her ascension, she would rather be with the guards, fighting back the evil that took her family, than preparing to be found worthy by the gods. But the choice has never been hers. A duty ... The entire kingdom's future rests on Poppy's shoulders, something she's not even quite sure she wants for herself. Because a maiden has a heart and a soul and longing. And when Hawk, a golden-eyed guard, honor-bound to ensure her ascension, enters her life, destiny and duty become tangled with desire and need. I lost my place. I got sidetracked. And I lost my place. He incites her anger, makes her question everything she believes in, and tempts her with the forbidden. Okay, and then another ... A kingdom ... Forsaken by the gods and feared by mortals, a fallen kingdom is risen once more, determined to take back what they believe is theirs through violence and vengeance. And as the shadow of those cursed draws closer, the line between what is forbidden and what is right becomes blurred. Poppy is not only on the verge of losing her heart and being found unworthy by the gods, but also her life when every blood-soaked thread that holds her world together begins to unravel. Okay. I don't even really know where to start. The main female character, Poppy, her official name is Penelope, which is another thing I noticed that like the author does, like takes like an average name and like kind of zhuzhes it up with like a different pronunciation or a different spelling, which is kind of cool. So her real name is Penelope. She is the queen's favorite. So in where she is a place called Maldonia, which is like a sub-kingdom of a larger kingdom, if that makes sense. And I forget the name of the other king. Cardonia? It's similar to the one where she lives. But the queen lives there, and she lives here in this castle, with some really grimy, like there's like a duke and a duchess and like a couple of lords who are like skeevy, and they like take pleasure in hurting her, and okay. So she is the maiden. The maiden is like she's like the queen's favorite. She's like a titled whatever, who at some point in the near future will travel to the heart of the kingdom where the queen is and take her place amongst the royalty of court or whatever, after she ascends. Ascension in the book is basically described as basically like a meeting with the gods, and they weigh your shit and they decide whether or not you're worthy or unworthy, based on the actions of your life, right? So she is, as you can tell by her title, a maiden. So she is obviously, she's a virgin. So the way she's described her title is, she is apart, like basically put up on a pedestal away from everyone. No one is supposed to see her face. She wears a veil everywhere she goes when she goes out of her bedroom. She has guards who guard her 24/7. She's supposed to be like dainty and demure and you know what I'm saying? Like, so that she can be found worthy when her time comes and take her rightful place. Penelope has powers which come into play where they shouldn't. Like, for example, she's supposed to be like this demure little kitten, and in real life, one of her eldest guards, and like the most trusted one, Victor, has been like low-key teaching her how to like defend herself and like fight, and he takes her outside of the boundaries of where she's supposed to be, to help people who have been cursed. And when they say cursed, they've basically been afflicted with like this disease that will eventually morph into like vampirism, really. So like the way the author describes this kingdom, there are elements of supernatural beings that we would think of, like if you read like paranormal romance novels, you would think, okay, that's a werewolf, or okay, that's a vampire, like, okay, we get it. But she's like given it a different name and given it slightly different characteristics, and so it's kind of like elevated it up to like something else, right? Which just adds another element of like plot. So long story short, because I'm fucking rambling, Penelope is tired of her life, basically. She does not want to be, like, she wants to be found worthy of the gods. She believes in the gods. She wants to ascend. Her brother is in the capital where the queen is, and she wants to eventually get there to see her brother and be reunited with him. And the only way to do that is to ascend and take her rightful place. But she also does not want to be that look obedient, simpering, whatever. Like, she wants to secretly have a life of her own, and she wants to be able to help people. She has a thing where with a touch she can take your pain away. She can also sense other people's moods, and it's like a progressing power that she's developed. The closer she gets to her ascension, the more it develops. So in the beginning it was just she could sense other people's pain, and now she's starting to sense like other emotions, and she's been using that power to take away the pain of the people outside of the boundaries of the fortress or whatever, who have been afflicted with this disease. Okay, so her old guard mysteriously dies of like an undisclosed blood disease, and insert new guard, whom she has seen on the battlements, like training and stuff like that, and she's been like, ooh, you know, like low-key he's really cute, but she can't tell him that obviously because he can't even see her face. But so the enter Hawk, who she happens to run into at like a brothel. So aforementioned her not liking her life and wanting to like rebel, she sneaks out and she goes into this place called the Red Pearl. And it's like, she goes thinking it's like a bar or like a gambling den. And really it is those things, but it's also like a brothel. And she ends up hiding in a room that she thinks is empty, but is not empty. She's wearing a mask that like one of those domino masks that like covers this, but leaves this bare, right? She runs into Hawk in the room and they have like a little smooch sesh. And then he gets called away on some business. He's like, wait for me here, I'll be back, don't you dare leave. And she's like, okay. And then he leaves and she's like, fuck, I gotta get out of here, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. So she bolts. And then later on, when he comes in to guard her, she's freaking out because she thinks, oh shit, he's gonna know who I am and he's gonna think I'm some like hooch who's just like, but I'm the maiden and I'm supposed to be pure and whatever, right? After a while, it seems like maybe he doesn't know who she is because he's like pretending that he doesn't recognize her. And then it comes out that he does recognize her, and they form like a friendship attachment type situation, which then grows into something more. And it's their relationship is difficult to explain because the book centers so heavily on Poppy and what's expected of her that by the time it got into her relationship with Hawk and the progression of that, I felt like I was already 3/4 of the way done with the book, which should have been the first clue that things were not going to end the way that I expected them to end. Because when you're 3/4 of the way through the book and only a little bit of stuff has happened between the main couple, I should have fucking known. I should have known there was going to be a cliffhanger. But anyway, so she gets, essentially there's like these murders that are taking place inside the capital. I mean, inside the fortress area. And they're trying to like, protect the maiden. Okay, right. So there is, outside of the walls, there is a group of people who are backing the old regime who used to rule the kingdom. And this is like another thing where it's like it's taken from another type of lore, or it's like derived from whatever. So they're called the Atlanteans, and that was the kingdom or the people who ruled prior to the people who are ruling now. There was a big war many, many moons ago, and the Atlanteans were defeated, and now these other nobles are like the queen and whoever have taken over and they're ruling. And the Atlanteans, they think that the Atlanteans have all been wiped out and that they're like extinct, but they're really not. They're really like insurgent, like insurrection type, rebellion, okay, right? And they have their like mortals who follow them and whatever. And the Atlanteans were like immortal type creatures, but they could still be killed. I think it's like either decapitation or stabbed through the heart or whatever. And yeah, my back is killing me from sitting up so straight because I'm 25 minutes in. This video is going to be like 40 minutes, but 622 pages though. So I'm doing the best I can. So Poppy has been led her whole life to believe that the Atlanteans were to blame for what the disease thing that's ravaging the kingdom. Essentially, there's a mist that rolls through, and with it, inside that mist, are creatures. They're like crazy. They're like bloodlusted vampires, basically. who kill, torment, whatever. Poppy's parents were killed by the mist, aka the creatures within the mist. And from that time on, she has basically bought into all of the BS that's been fed to her about the mist and who's controlling it and who brought it on and how to save yourself from becoming one of those things, or how to, avoid that life that's evil, that's the bad shit over there, and we're the good shit over here, right? But really, spoiler alert, it's the other way. Yeah. So essentially, the fortress is attacked by the followers of the Atlanteans, or the Dark One, who's like heir to the Atlantean throne, whom they're all backing. And she gets called to the capital, so she has to, it's a perfect timing, she gets called to the capital for her ascension. And then the fortress gets attacked and all hell breaks loose, and her, Hawk, guarded by Hawk, and several other guards from the Rise, which is what they call the kingdom thing, the wall that's around the fortress. Several other guards are going to take her outside the Rise on the long trek to the capital where the queen is waiting for her. So they go out and they're accosted by werewolves, and they're not called werewolves, they're called something else. What the fuck are they called? It's not wargs, because that's from some other book I just finished. What was it called? What are they called? Anyway, I forget. But they're accosted by, on the road, traveling. They stop at this little town. And they're accosted by basically the equivalent of werewolves. And it comes out that Hawk is not really who he says he is. And by this time, she's basically given up her V card to him and fancies herself in love. And he also appears to feel deep feelings for her. But, God, I'm sorry, hun, I gotta betray you now because spoiler alert, I'm the Dark One. Which I kind of felt that coming from quarter way through the book, halfway through the book. And I feel a lot of people who read the book will be secretly thinking or hoping that he's gonna turn out to be the Dark One or the heir to the whatever. But there's a whole backstory with Hawk, and his family, and his brother's been taken captive by the queen and her people and is being held, and he's gonna have to use her as leverage, use Poppy as leverage for to get his brother back. And now he's formed an attachment to her and he doesn't want to betray her, but he can't just leave his brother there to die, right? Okay, you get it. I think I've done enough. Have I done enough? 30 minutes? Have I done enough? So yeah, like I said, very plot heavy, very detailed, fictitious world. If you like fantasy type novels, I think you will really enjoy this. If you are okay with the book ending on a cliffhanger, but knowing that there's another one that's already out that will help soften that blow, read it. It's good. It is really good. So for the rating for it, I give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I did like the writing style of the author. And yeah. And the sex scenes were just enough that I was yeah, this could fit on my channel. So I really thank you guys so much for enduring another long-winded session of verbal diarrhea. If you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, make sure you hit that little bell so you get notifications when I upload a new video. You can also keep up with new videos, giveaways, things like that, by I like a massive brain fart, by joining my members only Facebook group. I also have an Instagram and a Twitter devoted to this channel. They're all under varying names of What the Smut. I'll link them down below in the description box, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. I really appreciate you guys joining me for another video, and I guess that's it. I will see you guys in my next one. I love you so much. Bye. We're just gonna hit play, and I gotta figure out how I want to start this video because let me scooch back a little bit, because every time I move my fat stomach hits my table and my camera moves. So how are we gonna do this? Okay, long sleeve shirts. I feel choked. I'm into it. Okay. Waiting for the day of her ascension, she would so what, where else can I go? My eyes are killing me. So, yeah, right? So anyway, it was a very detailed book. It was very well written. I don't know if I already said that. I probably already said that. I can't, my brain's not. Just an FYI, when this video goes up, no, we already have a video for that. Okay, no, never mind. never mind. Oh my God. 33 minutes. And I can't even honestly say that a lot of this will get cut, because it was really just me rambling, trying to explain the plot of this book. 33 minutes. Nobody wants to watch me talk about anything for 33 minutes. Jennifer L. Armentrout. So satisfying. I'm only gonna do it one time. I am sweating. It is so hot in here. So hot in here. Tea. This is I washed it so I could use it, because it was buried in my cabinet, and I found it and I was like, oh my God, I need another top with a plastic top with it, so I'll stop killing the environment. And I found it, and then I was like, I gotta wash you because you've been in there for a hot minute. But this is my herbology, my Harry Potter herbology cup that I used to do my iced coffee in every day. So it has like a scent, like a vague smell of coffee, even though it's been washed. It's like in the plastic now, the smell. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna hang up now. I said hang up like I'm on the phone, but I'm not on the. I'm gonna end it now because 35 minutes and change.